survival surfing, but also some surfers thriving in these conditions. David Silva, Adam Melling, Cody Young, and Victor Bernardo in the lineup. Strider, who's got the edge in this heat?
Well, I think just out of sheer, experience, Adam Melling's going to look really great out here.
And Victor Bernardo, speaking of looking great, that wave had a clean line right when he took off. Here's Cody Young.
Nice turn off the top right there, so aggressive in his approach. I feel like he did really well to go with the flow on that wave, so he'll get a nice opener. And then here's Adam Melling, who I commented on earlier. A lot of experience in the water out here, so he'll find himself on some of the better waves of the day for sure. And here's the wave that Victor Bernardo rolled into. He's got so much aggression in the bowl. He's got a great rail game, clean positioning. I feel like he's changed people's opinions by the way he's surfing out here today.
Cody Young pulls up into it, almost gets ejected, but rides out cleanly. It's like he hit a launch ramp right there as he exited the barrel. Surfing in big, windy, open ocean water. This was a beautiful wave.
Well, he timed his bottom turn perfectly and waited for that wave to come over him. So that's why he found himself in that pit. Obviously wave selection playing in here, but when you're rolling in like that out of the whitewater, you never know exactly what you're going to get. Whoa! You can kind of see down the line of the line of the wave as it lumps in, and you can see what's going to come into the inside. So he timed his bottom turn perfectly to set himself up to be just under the hook right here. It's not a crazy deep barrel, but a beautiful one. And that was a big wave too, as he came flying out of that thing and then threw into a nice carve to finish. And that's something I feel like the judges really like when you come out on the end of the wave and you get a turn in. It's kind of like just putting an exclamation point on the end. Barreled. They're going to give you an excellent score.
Factor in the difficult exit as well, adding to the excitement of that wave. This is David Silva. Not a big guy, but he rises. It surfs big. First wave was just a 1. This is a roll-in, first wave of the set. First scoring wave for David Silva.
I feel like the score is going to come in a little like, mid-range, nothing huge, maybe just up underneath the 5 mark because the wave was a little smaller and the corner on it was, not very there wasn't a lot of wall. The first turn, the meat of the wave, and then he kind of came into the corner again. You see it kind of flatten out there, so not a huge score. And like we talked about just now, coming in just under the 5 mark.
Last ball will come through, detonate on you. You got to be on your toes in this lineup. Here goes Victor Bernardo. Another, relatively speaking, smaller wave, still well overhead. So Bernardo, on his first wave, was a 4.5. Alex Ibero, well, he would need most likely a 3rd place finish to get there. Bernardo now on this medium wave. Do you think that was a smart wave choice for Victor Bernardo?
I think it was a tough go for him. He just wanted to try and put something on the board.
So in this heat, really keep your eyes on David Silva. He's got a good chance to up his spot on the QS. Here goes Adam Melling. Adam Melling suffering the wrath of this vicious wind. Makes it that much more difficult. What happened here?
Well, you can see he's on a great wave selection here. Unfortunately, his inside rail actually caught.
And to give you guys a little bit of an idea of how steep this embankment is, I'm just going to send myself right off of it. I'm a solid 6'6", so now you guys get an idea. This is the real deal.
You pull your board out of the car, the work starts. Getting in and out of the water, crazy. But Cody Young, making it look easy right now.
He's picking out some really nice waves. He's got a commanding lead in this heat, so you can see his surfing looks really freed up out there. And here's Adam Melling. Great wave selection. The knowledge that he's got you know, from riding this wave so much, would give him the opportunity to find all those waves out there that have scoring potential on it. 17,000 points out of
live action. David Silva, high line on his backhand. He could have a runner to work with here, straight into lip. Beautiful snapping turn. Nails the drop. Turn. The judge will take a look at that as we watch Victor Bernardo. Victor, the game plan is taking off on these medium. Looks like we've got Melling again. Up, under. Beautiful drop, straight up to the lip. Controlled in the chaos. You start Melling, starting to wind things up here. That's that veteran knowledge snapping into play. Another big set coming. Love the looks of that drop. Under the lip, Strider.
So great positioning. And, you know, we talked about it a bit in the beginning of the heat here, why Adam was a pick for this. He's just spent enough time out here and he has the wave knowledge to be putting up big numbers. Wave selection really great. And Bernardo kind of new on the scene, so he's catching waves that are a little bit smaller, I'd say, to overcome Melling at the moment, and Cody Young.
Cody Young having a look there. Just a solid offshore wind.
Definitely, and you'll see somebody on the inside there in position. And who is it?
Melling.
Adam Melling.
Just getting up from that prone position as he's thrown over. Incredible feat and a big turn for Melling. No nerves for Adam Melling. Under that 5-minute mark. This was a wild ride from the beginning.
Yeah, you talked about whether you were going to see anybody get that wave. We saw it break way outside prior, and then it backed off into the corner. So Adam, knowing this place, found himself in that corner where you have to sit kind of underneath, where the waves actually look like they're going to go wide, and then they pull back into the power pocket where you can sit, where they reform, and then he gets onto the open face and, you know, goes to work on what's left of the wave. A nice clean surface, like you see that right there. Those waves have scoring potential on them.
Victor Bernardo flipping it on a smaller wave, maybe just a positional play.
That's coming off tour and still putting into the game for these youngsters coming up.
Could be a victory lap for Cody Young. Looking down the line.
Earned his paycheck today.
Melling on a big teepee. Late drop, gets back into control, straight up in the lip. This time he rides out, powering through the wind. This wily veteran, he's been off on tour. Flip away. What a turn this was. So
this man just obviously found himself on the inside corner over there where he was finding all the rest of his waves.
The Dramatics trying to handle a huge foam ball takeoff. He's up in time. Silva. He's got to get a 5.93. This is a wave that has that number written all over it. Another big turn for David Silva. But he's got to get around this whitewater. He goes down.
Well, we're going to watch it right here. So this was a bigger wave, and we talked about that. He had priority, so he went out further. And this is where we're either going to see the score come in or not, was from that turn right there. Personally, he never really had full control of that wave. The turn was not anything of consequence. Kind of a down carve, in my opinion. I don't think he's going to get the score necessary to turn the heat, and he's going to come in a bit frustrated. He had the opportunity. Would he have come off the bottom, come into that power pocket, and did a big, huge arc and made that surfing look big, which is what that wave offered, he would have come away with the score. But unfortunately, he did not do that. He didn't perform to the wave and what it was had to offer.